There are 6 incredible tricks with onions that you never knew you needed, but that will completely change your life. I'll show you in a moment what exactly toilet paper has to do with your feet, but did you also know that you can even clean your toilet with an onion? But not like this. We want to take a slightly different approach. First, cut an onion into somewhat smaller pieces, then put them directly into a blender. Once you've done that, we need 2 more ingredients. The first one is baking soda. You should add a well-heaped teaspoon of this and then also 250 milliliters of water. Now mix everything together really well until you get a mixture like this. You should now carefully pour this mixture through a fine sieve in the very next step, because all we truly need is the pure liquid. We want to dispose of all the solid, unwanted materials now. You can then pour the liquid into a secure, sealable jar, which you can then set aside and take out whenever you want to clean the toilet. After all, we don't need the entire amount at once. For each cleaning, 50 to 100 milliliters are enough. Depending on how dirty the toilet is, ideally pour this mixture directly into the toilet. Make sure to distribute it everywhere so that the mixture covers all areas. Then let it sit for about 20 minutes before you start scrubbing thoroughly with the toilet brush. Thanks to the ingredients in garlic, this will not only clean your toilet but also kill all the bacteria inside. But did you also know that when you cut onions, you should never just throw away the onion skins? Because they have an incredibly positive effect that I want to show you now. That's why you should definitely keep the onion skins when you're preparing some onions. You can collect them now and put them in a container. I'm going to take about a good handful of these and pour in a liter of water. Ideally, the water should be nice and warm, but you should let this mixture sit for a while first. Ideally, let it sit for several hours, but at the very least until the water has completely cooled down. This is because now all the components from the onion peel are transferring into the water. And it's exactly these that we can still use. But before we do that, you should pour everything through a sieve. As you can clearly see with mine, the liquid has already changed color quite a bit after some time. Now we will carefully pour everything through a sieve to filter out just the liquid. Now at this step, the shells can finally be thrown away. But what exactly should you do with the liquid now? In this liquid, we find a whole lot of important nutrients that are also good for our plants. That's why you can use it regularly to water your plants and won't have to buy expensive fertilizer. Before I show you how you can save a lot of money with the toilet paper trick, let me first show you what you should be doing with your feet. For this, you'll need a large sweet onion, and you should now cut it into nice thick slices, just like you can see me doing. Then start stuffing these onion rings into your socks. Make sure that you have some onion covering the entire sole of your foot. That means in this case, I now put 2 large onion peels into the sock, pull everything on tightly again so that the entire sole of the foot is now covered by the onion. Now we put on a slightly thicker sock over it to make sure that none of the onion juice leaks out and that everything stays nicely on your feet. That's exactly how you should go to bed now. Of course, do the whole thing with both feet. Now you can sleep for a night, and when you get up the very next morning, you can simply take off the socks and then throw away the onions. But by now they have had an incredibly positive effect on our health. Because the onion has an antimicrobial effect. That means you can use it to prevent the spread of bacteria in your body. And it is anti-inflammatory, which is why many people also say it is a natural antibiotic. Many nerves and blood vessels end in our feet. This allows all the ingredients to be absorbed. So you could say that you can fight off an infection better this way. Or if you notice that you're starting to catch a cold, you might still be able to fend it off a little or at least lessen its severity. And if that's still not enough for you, you can even clean your windows with an onion. There are 2 different ways to do this. Either you simply cut an onion in half. You can also just simply cut several individual pieces off and then use them directly on your window surface. Because if you thoroughly rub it all over your window panes, you'll inevitably get these small, stubborn stains. Solved quickly and easily. All you have to do afterwards is wipe everything again with a damp cloth and let it dry. You'll see that your window panes will be sparkling clean again. But if you feel that's a bit too wasteful, since you'll naturally need several pieces of onion depending on how many windows you actually have, you can simply take a bucket of water, just your regular cleaning water for the windows, and then add half an onion to it. You should now leave this in here for about an hour so that all the ingredients can infuse into the water. Now you can simply clean your windows with this water just as you normally would with ease. So go in with a soft cloth, wipe everything thoroughly over the windows, and then wipe it completely dry again. And then you can enjoy a really beautiful shine. And you'll have a clear view again through all your windows. And if you also have the problem that every time you cut an onion, your eyes start to water, I'm going to show you now probably the most ingenious and simplest trick to prevent that, one that hardly anyone seems to know. Because all you need is a damp paper towel. You just have to place it next to the onion. Because when you cut onions, small gases are released that travel to your eyes since they're looking for the next moist spot. If you now place the damp cloth next to the onion, these gases will be absorbed by the cloth instead of reaching your eyes. That way, you won't get tears in your eyes anymore when cutting onions. And if your onions regularly get moldy or start looking bad after a short time, then you should just grab a paper bag, put all the onions in here, and all you need is a roll of toilet paper. However, you shouldn't use the whole roll, just a few sheets. And then put those into the bag as well. Because when you put those few sheets into the bag, you make sure that any excess moisture that collects inside, which can quickly cause the onions to spoil, is absorbed by the paper. And that way, the onions should really last longer. Be sure to give this a try yourself too. And if you also want to know why almost no one knows the meaning of the numbers on the oven, then you should watch the video that you now see on the screen. Click on it right away.